Hey crypto family, so today we're going to talk about the recent rise in the market and why that's been happening, and a few articles that have come out that are pretty positive for the space in general. So as you know, Bitcoin had a huge rise the past couple of days. Mainly on March 18th, we saw this $1,000 rise in the span of a couple hours, and the main reason for this rise was the response of the G20 committee to cryptocurrencies. So for those who don't know, the G20, basically it's like the 20 largest countries, or I guess you could say that have the most impact. They gather together, and it's countries such as, you have Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Japan, United States. All the main countries, they gather together, and it's basically like a financial meeting. So a lot of the top world bankers and financial firms, they come together and basically they discuss the world economy. So the big announcement here was they said cryptos don't pose risk to financial stability. So it says an international group of central bank regulators and government ministers said Sunday that cryptocurrencies don't pose a risk to global financial stability, comments that come on the eve of the talks on the subject by the G20. So this was huge because regulation was a big talking point of a lot of the FUD that was going on. People were worried that the government, was going to regulate cryptocurrencies. It would have negative impact. And really, regulations aren't the worst thing in the world for cryptos. If anything, it allows more adoption. But the news here, they're saying that crypto assets do not pose risk to global financial stability at this time. This is in part because they are small relative to the financial system. So basically what they said here, they came to the conclusion that, hey, there's no need for all these mass regulations because cryptocurrencies aren't even, big enough to make a difference, pretty much. They're saying cryptocurrencies, barely cover, even at their peak, they barely covered 1% of the world's, of the global GDP. Whereas the financial crisis of 2008, credit default swaps were 100% of the global GDP. So again, that puts things into perspective. And, I love the stance that they have on it because really they don't see cryptos as a threat, which is great. It gives cryptos room to grow to where they actually, do make a statement in the future. I think right now, you're seeing just small adoption by more and more people. And while it's not a lot now, I believe in the future we'll definitely see, the mass adoption of cryptos. So this is pretty much why everyone was excited. And because they saw regulations weren't coming, they said, hey, okay, they're getting more relaxed on cryptocurrencies. They don't see them as a financial threat. And pretty much, in the short term at least, they're going to leave them alone. So a lot of people bought Bitcoin due to this news. And you can see, it went over $1,000. And since then, it's kind of been on a steady rise. So I thought that was awesome. It just goes to show you that even with all the FUD going around and stuff, a lot of these people are still, they still don't see crypto as a threat, and, it's not as bad as people say it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these people are actually buying cryptos right now. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest because there's a lot of big things going on, and there's going to be some big moves coming up in the next couple of months. So, smart money is actually getting in right now. So that was one of the big things one of the big catalysts for the rises that we've had. And another article I want to cover is one by CNBC. It actually talks about Kevin O'Leary, who, if y'all live in the United States, he's the guy on Shark Tank, and he's one of a billionaire investors, and he has a lot of different projects, started a lot of companies from scratch, and it says NYC Hotel wants to use a 400 million crypto coin offering to sell ownership like a stock. So Kevin says, instead of a stock, a share, it's a coin. With a smart contract approved by the SEC, says Shark Tank investor, you'll be an owner of a third of this hotel. If it works, it'll be the first of its kind. So this is massive. Basically what happened here is this big investor, Kevin O'Leary, he basically is working with this hotel company, and he's creating a coin. It's kind of like an ICO, except there's like already a backing to it, and the SEC is supporting it. So in a sense, it's because ICOs really don't have like their product backing them. Like they don't have a have a finalized product, you could say. It's all still, you know, the vision. Whereas this thing that he's offering, there's already stuff behind it. So there's already like work going on and everything. So basically what he's saying here is he says there's a big deal coming to New York in the next 3 weeks, and it's a $400 million coin issuance for a real asset you've heard of. So again, you know, this asset's already in business. It's already tangible. And basically, I mean, he's complied with the SEC, and he says here that, you know, like he wants to follow the rules. He wants to get regulated. You know, he wants to make sure that, you know, everything is good to go because he just cares about making money. So I thought this was positive news because, you know, a big investor like this, a billionaire, I mean, if he's getting into it, and there's already another Shark Tank guy, I believe his name, I forgot what his name was, but he's also in cryptocurrency. So if these guys are getting in it, and they're getting in big companies, big hotels, and they're working with the SEC, then that should be proof enough that crypto is here to stay. So, I mean, this was just more positive news. This came out just 14 hours ago, and I'm definitely excited about this. So it's just more and more of these big investors are getting involved, and it's definitely good news moving forward. So speaking of a lot of the positive news, some of the best that caught my eye is this guy Tom Lee. He predicts Bitcoin to reach $91,000 by March of 2020 based on performance after past dips. So for those who don't know who Tom Lee is, basically he was this guy. He's a previous financial guy, really big, and he actually created this Bitcoin Misery Index. So this is a Bitcoin Misery Index that basically gauges when people are, you could say, the most miserable based on the price of Bitcoin. Because when they are, that's usually a great time to buy, and then that's when you see the greatest returns. So here he has, you know, if you, I'll expand it here. You can see this red here is the misery level, and basically anything below 27 is a really good buy. Now, right now, just a couple days ago, the misery index was at 18, and it wasn't that low since September 2011. So again, and you can see here, since September 2011, we saw massive growth. So when he was gauging this, I mean, he was saying, you know, pretty much like right now, you know, is the best time to buy. And based off of how much it's grown from those dips and for how long the growth has sustained, he came to a conclusion that Bitcoin would reach $91,000 by March of 2020. So, you know, I like, you know, he uses a logarithmic scale. Basically, he uses a lot of different methods than normal people use. But I think he has a lot of valid points here because, you know, after the climb that we've had, I mean, cryptocurrencies, you know, they have a history of making these huge declines, but then making even, you know, bigger rallies. So I definitely think he's onto something. You know, I don't know if it's going to be 91,000 by March of 2020, but it very well could be. You know, he's predicting 25,000 by the end of this year. I think 25,000 is a little conservative. You know, a lot of people are saying 30 to 40,000 into this year. So again, we'll keep an eye on that and see how it goes. But yeah, you see, you know, all this positive news that's coming out, and a lot of these investors who are getting involved in cryptocurrencies. I mean, don't fall into the FUD, because it's really easy, you know, when you see Bitcoin like just declining over and over and over. Just keep in mind that there's so many people invested in cryptocurrencies, it's not even funny. And one of the guys, Palm Beach Confidential, if y'all have heard about that, it's basically like a place. Some people call it a pump and dump group, but basically there's like a lot of wealthy investors in it, as a big subscriber list, and they announce like certain coins, and those coins end up pumping, and yada yada. But one of the main guy there, Tika, he actually was saying that May 14th is when this quote unquote second boom is going to happen in cryptos, because I guess there's like a big crypto conference of only wealthy investors on that day. But basically, there's a lot of people who are investing in cryptos right now. And while it seems like, you know, they've gone up so much already, we're still in the infancy of it. You know, not even 1% of the global GDP is in cryptos right now. So that tells you there's still a lot of room for growth. and I believe we'll definitely see a lot more in the future. So if y'all found this video useful, please give it a like and comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, thanks for watching.